Oh, you're one-upping me every step of the way.
And we're live.
That's going to be the trend. That's going to be that's the way it's going to be from here on out.
But yeah, welcome to the Reactors Summit. It's going to be a fun one today. I've got two people on which have already started a rivalry before they've even been drafted. I've got Zach and Gold Leader. Zach, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Happy to be here. I'm excited. The draft's coming up on Friday. I feel good. There's a lot of excitement in the air. You know, the energy. I'm feeling pumped. I can't wait to see what happens.
And Evan, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling angry and hungry. I'm ready for blood. That's what I'm feeling.
Hey man, grab a Snickers. You need to chill out. It's like,
no, I'm
not. But yeah, so I'm going to start like with just doing any question answers, find out more about you guys. But the first question I have is, how did you get into the Schmodown? I'm going to start with you, Zach.
Yeah, so I am friends with Alex Damon, and I became aware of the Schmodown through him. You know, I've been watching his. So we met. So I'm one of the Dragon Con 3, as we're being called, which is myself, Thomas Harper, and Marie Wilson, and we're the hardcore Dragon Con Star Wars trivia guys. We've all beaten Alex in trivia at Dragon Con over various years, and you know, it was kind of how our friendship started. And then so through that, I became aware of the Schmodown. I began watching Alex's matches. Every time he would compete, I would watch and play along myself and keep scoring. You know, and kind of compare how I did. You know, and I found that I would almost always do, you know, almost as well, if not just as well as Alex, and I pretty much would always beat whoever it was he was competing against. And I was like, well, I can do this. You know, this looks like fun. You know, how do I get involved? You know, I want to do this. So he, you know, so over time, I guess, you know, he kind of got us, you know, got us involved, and he mentioned our names to Christian, and now here we are. And I'm excited to be here, and I think it's going to be a great season. Hopefully, I get drafted.
And Evan, how did you get into the Schmodown?
So you know, I've been following Star Wars Explained for a while. I knew that he was in the Schmodown, and I've watched a lot of his matches. But I think I was just looking for a challenge on YouTube, so I searched Star Wars trivia to see what came up. And this was probably back in 2017. And a lot of the Schmodown matches came up, so I started watching those and playing along. And like Zach said, like I'm watching these, and I'm like, well, I could do this. I'm getting a lot of these questions right. Mm-hmm. Granted, the questions have certainly gotten more difficult since then, but yeah, I just got this. See, I have this thing. I really want people. This is probably, you know, anyone who wants to challenge me, feel free to use this. My biggest thing is that I'm afraid that people will think I'm stupid. So alternatively, I really want people to think I'm smart. So I started obsessing over knowing more Star Wars knowledge, and I've built this huge, you know, confidence in myself and this wealth of knowledge. And now, like I've said, I want to use that as a weapon, and I want to bring the pain. I want to bring the pain this year. So that's what brought me here.
Yeah. So now that you know the start of some of these groups, which we'll get into a little bit later anyway, but which manager would you like to be drafted by? Which team would you like to be in?
Me specifically, or both of us?
Both of you.
You can go first.
Okay, I will go first. So I don't know if I should show all my cards here. I've talked to a couple. You know, all I will say on this matter is that I really feel the inner heel coming out. And whichever manager wants to take that on, please, by all means, guide me. Let me be your angry boy in the corner. Let me do it. So I won't say who I want to be drafted by, because maybe the person who could end up drafting me is not this person. I've talked to a couple, but it's up in the air. It's up in the air is my point.
That's a very diplomatic answer. I like it.
I'm a politician on the side, actually. No.
But Zach, you don't have to say if you don't want to, but is there any managers you'd like to draft you?
Yeah, sure. So Evan, I can totally see your inner heel coming out. You already kind of embraced it, and you're kind of coming off as like you're going to be that guy. Which I mean, if you want to go for it, go for it. That's awesome. I'll tell you. So and I don't know if I have it in me to be a heel. I'll say that I'm moldable. I'm adaptable. I could do whatever. So let's say I get picked up and I can become whatever a manager may want to craft me into. I'm kind of a blank slate right now, but I feel like my natural inclination is the opposite of really of a heel. So Evan, if you do become a heel, you and I may kind of come into conflict. It's kind of the light side and the dark side coming together. Balance, yeah, exactly. So I think swag looks like an awesome faction. Corruption seems pretty cool, and through Alex and Molly, I become familiar because I know they've been on the Stars and the Usual Suspects. So either one of those, would be great. And the Den seems like a cool team to join up with. But I'm open to whatever. Anybody who wants to draft me, I'm down. I'll be your guy. I'm willing to. I'm not going to be picky. If I get picked up, I'm all in with whatever faction will have me.
But yeah, I mean, you're both clearly aim for the Star Wars division. If you are offered the chance, do you think you can hang in IG or singles as well? I'll start with you on the sec.
Who?
That here.
Oh, Zach.
Sorry, me first. Oh, yeah. So I definitely 100% can do Inner Geekdom. I've really been trying to market myself as a Star Wars / IG contender. I have tons of IG knowledge. In addition to being a Star Wars fan, I'm a huge Marvel guy, Harry Potter. Like any question in like any of those realms, they're a guaranteed point basically in my favor. I consider myself expert level on Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Marvel. As far as DC and Lord of the Rings, I'm a little rusty, but I could brush up and get to where I need to be. And then some of the other categories, some of the more like sci-fi fantasy stuff, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Terminator, Back to the Future. Like, these films are all films that I know like by heart, 100% backwards and forwards. Any question on any one of these films is a guaranteed point. I got it all down. So IG, I'm there. And even singles, I might be able, so I played along while watching a couple of, singles matches, and I tend to hold my own pretty well. So like, if it came down to it, I think I could do singles too, but I think Star Wars and IG are my big two. I love horror movies. I'm a huge horror fan. 80s movies, any and all things 80s, any Spielberg movies, like I'm there. That's my jam. So yeah, I'm versatile. I could do kind of, I'm a jack of all trades.
And Evan, what about you?
This may be throwing myself under the bus here, but no. I go by the philosophy of one Bruce Lee. I'm quoting relatively here. I believe this quote's actually him. I don't think it was one of those things that was just passed down and wasn't actually him that said it. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And Star Wars is my one kick. And that is the gun that I'm sticking with. That is the blaster I'm sticking with, rather. So, while I'm not as good all around with all these other things. I'm not as good with IG. I watch all these movies. I love Lord of the Rings. I love the MCU. I love all that stuff. but I will be a muscle player for the Star Wars division. That is my goal here, and that's my one kick. Like I said,
It's respectable.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I don't think it's throwing you under the bus at all, because if you're really into Star Wars, that could be a really big benefit for our faction. So, my dog has all the hot takes, but
is your dog trying to pick a fight, dude?
We got to bring him on the show. What's his division? What does he compete in?
Max, Attack of the Clones is not the best Star Wars movie.
Yes, it is. Wait, no, I'm just kidding.
But with that being said, with Star Wars, like, there's only a limited amount of movies that they have. So if they were to introduce like the Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian, and any of the future TV shows into the Star Wars division, how well do you think you would do with those ones all added as well? I'll start with Evan on this.
I think I would do pretty well. I love all these shows. I've seen. I mean, it goes without saying. I think a lot of the time, like I've seen every episode of all these shows, and I'm partial to Clone Wars. I've seen some of those arcs. I mean, I'm rewatching like the Umbara arc like 20 times. I love that. Like I think that's incredible. But so I think if they added these shows, I've rewatched this stuff so many times because every time a new episode comes out, I'll watch it with like 5 different groups of people. So by the time I come out of that, I will have gained all this knowledge. Basically, yes, I think I could definitely hang with the shows as well.
And what about you, Zach?
Same here. Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian. I've seen Clone Wars. I've watched through multiple times. Same with Mando. So I'll put it this way. In a recent match I watched between Alex and I believe it was Ace Cabrera, Alex spun the wheel and he got Clone Wars, and then he chose to respin. Because but then his manager Roxy said, well, if you want to flex, choose Clone Wars, but if you're not comfortable, respin. He respun. I would have flexed and stayed with Clone Wars because I got it all down, no problem.
But yeah, the last question I actually have is, do you have any final words for anyone that's currently in the Schmodown or soon to be? So, but yeah, whoever wants to go first can go first.
I mean, I will say, Zach, you better bring your A game, boy. Bring your A game, boy, because I'm ready.
I always do, man. You've been talking a lot of smack in the Facebook group, man, and I'm gonna meet you, man. I'll be right there.
Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Come at me, bro.
I want blood with Zach. That's my main thing right now.
I don't know how this rivalry, started, but apparently it's a thing. And man, if we both get drafted and we're on opposite factions, man, I'm coming for you. You better believe it.
I mean, I'm probably going to call it now. If you both get drafted in opposite factions, Christian's probably going to make that match happen.
Oh man, I'm ready. Bring it on, man. So Mr. Gold Leader, so I'll say, you think you're Gold Leader and Alex thinks he's like Biggs Darklighter. You guys should have picked pilots who actually didn't go down in flames. I'm Wedge all the way, baby. Wedge all day. I'll survive every battle. Let's go.
What, Wedge getting shot halfway through and having to back out? Is that what you're talking about, Wedge? Is that what you're talking about, Wedge?
Okay. Dutch Vander.
But with that, those are all the questions that I do have. But if you want to stick around, we're going to talk about sort of what's happened at the free agency special that happened on Saturday. So I'll go start from the bottom, cover the bigger ones till the end. But first up, we've got, for the usual suspects, confirmed in the usual suspects, we've got Liz Shannon Miller, Ethan Irwin, and Drew McReaney. And Drew McReaney is back. Zach, what are your thoughts on the usual suspects makeup at the moment?
I mean, it seems solid to me. So I'm not like super well versed in like the factions. So I kind of know, I know who the players are, and I know like generally like what the factions are kind of like, but I don't know them well enough to say, oh, this person's on that faction. That's so crazy, like so. I know the individuals and their strengths, but it's like when it comes to like who's on what team, like it doesn't like mean enough to me yet where I'm able to say like, oh my god, like he got put on that team, got put on that team. That's so that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I'm still learning. I'm still familiarizing myself with kind of who's who and kind of the dynamics between the factions.
Yeah, no, that is totally fair. Evan, do you have any thoughts on the makeup of the usual suspects at the moment?
So this is really uneventful for your show. I'm sorry, but I'm much in the same boat that Zach is in. I kind of get tunnel vision with this kind of thing because this week has been moving so fast for me. So I've kind of been honing in on what I know and like what's going on with me and not as much the league, and I feel bad about that. But yeah, they seem like solid picks. I will say those are like, it seems like a lot of people. I've seen some anger over a lot of these choices this week. So, I think it's going to be, and it's going to be war. The season is war, and it's definitely shaping up to be that way. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fine. It's one of those ones like I kind of have the feeling this might have happened this way, but
Right.
it's all good. Any discussion is good discussion. So I mean, but next up we got the Finstock Exchange, and it's pretty kind of predictable because you got John Woke, you got the Baboon, you got JTE in there. Any thoughts, Evan?
I kind of I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. Nothing against any of these people.
Yeah.
I just, again, solid. Real quick, which faction was this again, or which team was this again?
Finstock Exchange, managed by Tom Dagnino.
Yeah, it's still everything seems solid. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record here. There are a few that I thought were, that are in the teams coming up that seem like obvious picks. Some that are shockers. I think I'll have notes on some of the other factions, but yeah, I need to be more well versed at this. I feel unprepared.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's all good. It like, yeah. But I'll just rattle down sort of all the other factions. And if there's anything you want to chime in on, just let me know, and I'll get your thoughts on.
Sure.
Next up, we've got Quirky Mercs. We've got no, it's not Brendan Fraser. It's Brendan Meyer. I do not know why I wrote Brendan Fraser down in my notes.
Wait, whoa! The Schmodown's getting really famous this time.
But we've got Brendan Meyer, William Bibiani, and Kevin Smith for the Quirky Mercs.
Oh yeah, wait. Actually, I have notes on that. If Kevin Smith ever wanted to get into a Star Wars match, man, I would adore it. Just the opportunity to like square up with you at anything, Kevin. If you're watching,
Careful what you wish for, man.
Yeah, no, seriously. I know. I've followed that guy for a long time, and I think Zach may. I don't know if you may have the same experience with me, but like I'm an indie film person, so like Kevin Smith is like a legend.
Oh,
he is like one of my favorite people in the world. So to be in the room with him battling in a Star Wars context would be some real heat. So, and I've seen his match actually. He's a really solid player. So, Kevin, if you ever want to do Star Wars stuff, man, come on.
But yeah, Zach, any thoughts on the Quirky Mercs?
Not particularly.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones, especially with the celebrities that Christian is getting into. Any chance for anyone to take on like the likes of Chris Jericho, Kevin Smith, Paul Walterhausen, who's in the draft as well, and like with them all being big actors, like that could be the only chance you ever get to meet them, because obviously at the moment we're not allowed to really travel anywhere.
Sure.
So
I got to meet Kevin, I will say, right before the pandemic started. I think it was back in February in Richmond, Virginia. I went to a screening of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I got to meet him there. But I got lucky because that may not happen again for a long time. But maybe over a Zoom or a what is this, StreamYard show.
Yeah.
That could be a good opportunity.
But yeah, the swag team is Pulayama, Chandru, and Lon Harris. That's a pretty predictable sort of one to keep for that one, because you got Pulayama and Lon, which is a team, and then you got Chandru, who's a champion. And I mean, if you were going to re-sign your champion, then what are you doing?
No, seriously. Imagine if they just dropped Chandru last minute. Like that'd be insane. No, yeah, he's a great player too. I've seen his matches too. Yeah, he's really skilled with this stuff.
And talking about champions, Roxy Strike with the Stars kept Mark and Draco, Jeff Snyder, and Alex Damon.
Yeah.
Once again, if you go to not resign your champions, what are you doing? So that was that one. That one went pretty much the way I kind of expected.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Although maybe one of you will become champion eventually.
See, that's the thing. That's the one I've been pretty adamantly calling out. I want blood with Alex. You got to get. He's gotten the taste of blood with Alex, so I'm jealous.
I've tasted the Damon blood.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is. I think with any sales competitor, I think anyone would kill to be the first person to take that belt off Alex.
Absolutely.
But for the dungeon, this is where things got a lot interesting in the 300 special, because they kept Robert Parker, which I kind of knew they would. Then I do not know how Kaiser managed it. He signed Dan Merle and Ben Bateman, two players who I never thought would ever play.
Those are some heavy hitters, MVPs right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones like I know a lot of people be going like, it doesn't matter who the dungeon picks now. They could pick Joe Blogs from off the street if they really wanted to. Like they've got a good team with those three. But then once I find it again, Kate kept Paul Preston and Ben Goddard. Then drafted Marisol McKee, but then not. Very shortly after the 300 special, in the first few minutes of the rundown, it was announced that her and Shannon made a trade, and so Shannon got Marisol back. So Marisol is now back in the dungeon with Adam, Chance, and Mike. And now Kate gets 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, while Shannon has to wait till round 3 of the draft to actually pick someone else up. So this could be a really smart move on Kate, and she can get 4 heavy hitters straight off the bat in the draft. Sure. And it could be a really stupid decision for Shannon, because there's a good chance someone's going to pick up Laura Kelly and not make a deal so she can get Laura back. So
right.
So that's going to be a really interesting scenario there. But yeah, do you have any thoughts on that trade or that situation that they could be in?
I'm curious as to where Laura will end up as well, because she is an incredibly heavy hitter. I've called out Alex a lot, obviously, but I would not mind squaring up to you too, Laura. I'm just out here taking shots. I'm taking shots at anyone who wants the smoke, anyone who wants it. Come take it.
You're a firing shot, so I'm gonna have to shut you down, man.
I only got 6 shots in my revolver. I'll take them all.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones like everyone says that, like people are going to want to pick up Mara, Laura, Molly very quickly on, because they're confirmed to have a chance for a title coming up, because depending on what Alex decides to do, whether he wants to go one-on-one with Andrew, then have the winner of Laura and Molly go up against him next, or if he wants to go up against a triple threat. I don't know if Alex has made a decision on that yet, But that's probably going to be something that's going to be revealed in the next few weeks. But yes, and we all know Mao's going to be going up against Chandru in February. So those ones are probably going to be snapped up as fast as they can, because any chance that anyone may have for a title is going to be a reason to want to pick them up early. I personally think that, especially when it comes to Star Wars only players, no offense Evan, but at IG, depending on what the plans the managers have, they might want to try and get some more heavy hitters in there before they sort of focus on each division separately.
Sure.
But it's going to be interesting because as we know from what we went down with some of the teams, a lot of them have already got 3 singles, so they might be going for IG Star Wars next in their plans. Because I know in the Facebook group, there was someone who had a very lot of concern about Usual Suspects. Sam actually commented on that and said, "I've got plans for IG and Star Wars in my thing. I'm going to make Usual Suspects a really strong contender this year." But that's all we've got. It's been very light on Shimano because there has been no matches. There hasn't really been any major developments since. It does bring us to the end. But Zach, do you have anything you want to plug?
Do you have? Go ahead.
Oh, no, me? Okay.
I mean, whoever wants to go first, do your plugs.
Zach, if you have anything you want to plug, go ahead, man.
I mean, nothing too big. I mean, if you want to follow me on Instagram at Jedi Master Misu, that's MISU. If you want to check out any of my film and video work, you can go to vimeo.com/Zach Burkett. I have some short films and some stuff that I've done on there. I'm a filmmaker, editor, director. As far as plugs, I guess that's pretty much what I got.
And Evan, do you have anything you want to plug?
So yeah, I am. So we're both. Me and Zach are both from the same city, and we're both like filmmakers. So that was kind of funny.
Small world, crazy.
Yeah, I know, seriously. So I have a podcast. It's mostly on Facebook now. We're working on getting it out there on other platforms. It is called Nobody's Watching Anyway. It's just me and my brother talking about, all kinds of things. We mostly talk about what it's like to have been doing creative work for a long time with little to no reward. And we like to, it's a fun show. We do that, and then I have an animated series as well on YouTube. It's called Taxi, just like a car. Taxi Servits. It's like SERV-ITS. It's just a little comedy cartoon show. We're working on our 6th episode right now, so go watch that if you want. If you want to just not, if you want to enjoy just a little cartoon made by 2 people who don't know anything. So yeah, that's basically it. I got the podcast and the cartoon.
And Evan,
but yeah,
sorry, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good. But yeah, you can find me on Take 3 Productions, where I host the Reactors Summit every week. Next week, hopefully, I'll have a couple of people who got drafted and they're on. And we're going to be talking about the draft and the teams as what they end up being. You can find me host. I host a lot of things on Take 3. Late Night Take 3 will be coming back at some stage. Probably once the Friday nights is kind of free again, because the Shimoda will be on earlier than it is. But and I'm also on Saturday doing Rankum, which is our show where we make form lists, and we're going to be doing top 12 Denzel Washington movies. And you can find me over on the Full Metal Trivia side, where I host trivia matches there. I do a Full Metal Classic every Sunday, and then we do Full Metal Random. This week we're doing an IT crowd Full Metal Random match, so it's going to be a whole bunch of fun.
Nice.
But do you guys have anything else you want to say before we come off?
I want to say, so Evan, I know we both live in Decatur, and if I ever bump into you on the street or anything, man, it's gonna be on. We might have to throw down.
It's the masks are coming off, Zach. The mask is coming off. I look forward to seeing where this all goes. I want to raise some hell. I want it. I want all this heat, and I want it with Zach as well. We're gonna square up at some point.
I'm gonna make you eat those words, man.
But that being said, until next time, see you in the Schmodown.